Music. What does that word mean to you? Well, it could mean anything, anything in the entire world. Usually it's played in car rides on the way to work or back from work. Music is about memories, about making memories. You associate any kind of memories you have with music. Like one of your favorite songs could be tied to, let's say, a marriage or a graduation. I am Gabe Porter, and this is my TED Talk. Music is the secret to learning. What music means to me is the reason why I passed all of my high school year. Music, to me, is the actual reason that I am currently in media tech doing classes to get to where I want to be in life. A full-time DJ, a full-time music producer. End of sentence right there. That is all I want to be in life, and everything that has to do with music, that's what I want to pursue. Ever since I was a little baby, little guy, ever since I was in the womb, I've always been hearing music. Like, my parents would put headphones to my mom's stomach, and it would be like little symphonies, probably from like Mozart to Beethoven, or like Little Einstein. And then once I was actually born, I got introduced to cartoons. I continued listening to Little Einstein, and then I also watched Pokio. It's a little cartoon. It's quite old. There's this little blue guy. You know who he is. Okay. And that's how I grew up every day. My mom would always listen to hip-hop and rap music, while my dad was always into heavy metal and like hair bands. So that's how I was every single day. I've always been around music since birth up until 18 years old. I'm 18 right now. And that's how I learned my first words. My first words were obviously like, the basics, like mom or dad. But I learned how to say them because of pronunciation in those songs I was listening to. Oh. Granted, the words I learned may have not been the best words to say at, a very young age. But you know what? I knew pronunciation, and I still do now. And I just continue to listen to more and more music and get better and better vocabulary. Obviously, not all the words you should probably say, but just good to know. Music was the reason why I passed school, from preschool all the way up until this current day and age. This is because, I already learned like pronunciation through my music, through listening to music. Music played a huge role in my life up until now, from when I was in preschool. But when it came to starting school, I was scared. To say the least, I was absolutely terrified. I was just terrified. I didn't want to go to class. I've always been around my parents and around music, but I knew when I would go into school, there wouldn't be that there. Of course there would be, but let's be honest, those songs are cringy. But it didn't help. I had really bad anxiety, and all throughout school, I just had like this issue of just not fitting in. I was fighting for my life just to learn a basic topic in class. Like, it could range from ELA to math to like physics or even chemistry. It was always very hard for me to pass those classes. It got really bad to the point me and my parents were celebrating 70% on my grades. Like, when I got a 70, it was like an absolute party. And the worst part about it is what it did to me mentally and physically. I was getting made fun of at school. I never really fit in class. I've always been getting made fun of by teachers and students. I was considered a special ed kid. Now, I wasn't treated like a normal person in high school or any time during school. In lunch class, I'd always have to eat with the teachers that were cool to me. That's kind of how I went through school. I thought I was the only one going through all of this, and I just thought it's only me. The only reason why this is happening is because of me, because of who I am. And I was very hard on myself. But just think about it for a second. Picture a room of 15 students trying to learn one subject. Some kids will be able to process the information way easier than a lot of the other kids. Well, why is that? Out of these 15 kids, not everybody is the same. Of course, we have like alike qualities, but not every single kid in this classroom is the same. Like, for example, some kids could be left-handed, some kids could be right-handed. Some dude could have red hair, some girl could have purple hair. And everyone's different in their unique way, which comes to the point to why we're all different and we learn differently. Just because we have differences about ourselves doesn't make us any more valuable than we already are. When it comes to those who have difficulty learning, it almost always comes from ADHD, ADD, autism, or dyslexia. I have all of those except dyslexia. Yeah, timing and planning is really hard for us just because it just takes like a lot to learn for the brain. It's like we already have like a lot of stuff going on, like what dude said to me at Starbucks, or a car almost hit me on the road, like anything in between of those lines. We always have that going through our head. So I find it really difficult to like focus on one topic at once and actually not like zone out or like doodle and then get caught. I thought I got rid of that. So to make a solution for this little like gap in the learning abilities of these people, what do we do? Well, music actually unites everybody as a whole. And how you learned your ABCs is through music. How you also learn geography is through music. And how you learned math is also through music. Basically, those little like rhythmic, really corny songs really got stuck in your head. Now you always remember A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, you know. But you always remember that just because it was through music. So therefore, let's just utilize that. Oh no, it got turned off. Are we still running? Okay, so if that's the key to people like me learning how to do certain subjects, why don't we utilize it? For people like me who listen to music, the brain fully gets a chance to like relax and not do too much. Like whenever like overthinking or like too much is going on in our brain, we just turn on music and it all just kind of just settles. We're okay. We're not going to like worry too much, because we have music and we have something else to concentrate on. The brain gets a chance to slow down and comprehend the information rather than just deflect the information. That's why when we listen to music, sometimes we get goosebumps, because it's like we paid so much attention to that and we really enjoy this. It's just your body's way of saying, I like this. According to a clinical study reviewed by the Journal of Medical Internet Research, playing an instrument for 3 consecutive years successfully reduces 2/3 of the interhemispheric brain acronyms, acronies, I don't know how to say that, often seen in children with dyslexia and ADD. Moreover, the melodies that we learned, such as through the ABCs or counting or the geographic songs, were remembered through that stupid song. We know this because of our sensory regulation. To block random noises... Bro, give me a second. Okay. It's because of our sensory regulation in our brains, which trigger to like open up and retrieve that information to remember it. And because of that, every time we think of like the letter or the number or the state, we always have that song in case you forget like how to say any of it or how to remember any of it. This is known as neurodivergency. So as a neurodivergent person, I found that I use my sensory regulation to block random noises around me that cause me to be distracted so that I can focus. Along with this, pattern recognition plays a big role when it comes to patterns, obviously. Like listening to music, music replaces the visual words and helps me learn through sound in a different way. So basically, like the words you listen to in a song, whenever like the rapper or singer or the orchestra like perfectly like hits that right note that makes your brain like, oh, that's a cool song, I'll add it to my playlist. It's that sensory regulation that's going to make you remember that. And that's why you like that song, because it like repeats in your brain and it just makes you feel good. Releases a lot of dopamine. So back in school, I was getting in trouble a lot because of doodling. Well, yeah, doodling, drawing, quote unquote, not paying attention in class. I only did this so that I could actually find alternatives because I didn't have music to learn. So I would always just draw, I'd color, I'd also pick up my nails. They're a mess. They're like, look at this. It's gross. I'm like bleeding for no reason. And I would always get yelled at by my teachers because they'd think I wasn't paying attention. But when I did these things, I was actually trying my hardest to pay attention. It would always be like certain colors, like a neon purple, like a lighter red, that like if I use those colors, I can like fully focus. It helps me like relax seeing that color. And I thought I was alone in this, but little did I know, there's like millions around the world that are going through the same thing. I wasn't alone. In fact, ever since 1907, founded an organization that changed my life. And the millions of students forever. I don't really know how to say their full name. I think it's called NAfME. They have the most efficient ways to learn school subjects and all the core subjects in it. Standing for National Association for Music Education, their advocate is to educate and expand musical learning programs in as many schools as possible. And I was lucky enough to be one of those participants. NAfME's primary role centers on professional development, curriculum support, legislative advocacy. Their entire purpose is to make sure that they find the best possible way for you to learn and will adjust to your needs. So, being one of the largest musical educational companies in the world, they strictly rely on they strictly rely on musical learning, which is more than perfect for a student to efficiently learn and exactly what I needed back in school. In fact, millions worldwide have used NAfME millions worldwide are using NAfME. Because of this, they too are getting better grades. Instead of people making fun of you, they're the kindest and most genuine people you might ever meet. They always make sure you're okay. They get the right songs for you to learn, and they always adjust to your needs. Even if you grow up and you like this song, but now you like this song, they'll change it for you because they want what's best for you. Whether it's retired people or people in the music industry, all they want is the best for you. I trust them only because they know what it's like to not feel seen in schools, always feeling like you're left out. They know what that feels like. They relate to you. They have a personal connection to their students, which is beautiful. Because of the strong connection with their students, they have managed to help students get 17.3% higher graduation rates. That's substantial. That's insane. And have managed to help students around the globe understand 20% more of their schoolwork. Now, I don't know about you, but I would consider using NAfME. Now, with all that being said, why didn't students learn the way before NAfME? How come they couldn't learn the teacher's way? What stopped them from doing that? How did I not be able to understand what my teacher was saying besides of having these differences? Well, for a while now, teachers have used this rule that the one size fits all policy. And it basically means if you don't get taught this way, you won't get taught at all. I had an instance for math class, old math homework. I was learning how to multiply for the first time. And me and my mom were doing homework, and my mom was like,
"Let's do this another way."
I asked her, I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" She's like,
"There are different ways to solve this."
Then something clicked. There's different ways to learn for everybody around the whole world. Are you serious? Okay. So rather doing what used to take 10 minutes to do multiplication questions, my mom taught me a way that I learned it in 2 minutes. And every time I do multiplication, it's that same process, and it's way easier than what the teacher was trying to tell me to do. Because of this, I turned my work into my teacher, and she refused to grade it because it wasn't done her way.
Well, her way didn't allow me to fully pass the class.
So therefore, I had to find an alternative. In other words, me and my mom found a loophole. And unlike feeling embarrassed about my newfound way of learning how to do math, I used it to my advantage. And the best part is, it actually worked. The thing is, if I were to use the way the teacher was trying to teach me how to do multiplication, I would have never passed her class. Because of my mom teaching me how to do multiplication a certain way, I would have never passed math class. And this was a repeating factor for all of my classes because teachers upon teachers of all subjects were all stuck to this one way to learn school and to learn all the work. I mean, of course, it could work for you, but it might not work for me, or it might not work for your neighbor. The whole point to school is to learn for everybody. Everybody's supposed to learn the same thing. There's always more than just the one-way rule policy. Are you serious? All right. Before I end this
speech,
I would like to ask you personally, what would you do for your students or your kids or your children? Would you just let them find out their own way and just continue to fail all classes and then probably not be able to graduate? Or would you actually do something, intervene, and show them another way to do it, which actually motivates them and gets them to actually do their work efficiently? If you pick the first option,
I will say very kind things to you.
In our world today, we learn that not everyone is born the same. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Sure, we have alike qualities, but in our brains, each one of us is different. We all think differently. And difference is the most beautiful thing in keeping our world together. Difference is also the reason why we got companies like NAfME that strive to help different people like us, to help us learn more efficiently. From any age, everybody learns differently.
Oh my God, how many times is he going to say learn differently?
The last thing school should be for anybody is a nightmare that they dread to go to every day. School should be a place where everybody gets along, fits in, and learns correctly. to their own ways. I want to spread awareness. If there's one thing that we're all united by, it's music. If we use NAfME and the qualities they bring to the table, I guarantee you that we as a human race will become a lot smarter in generations after us. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.